Rod Sims, the ACCC has been investigating the rat market for the last couple of weeks. What have you discovered?
We named BP and IGA as chains that have a number of stores about whom we've had complaints of high pricing. About a week and a half ago, we named King of the Pack tobacconists and Metro petrol stations. I want to emphasise there's only a minority of stores in those chains, but certainly when we named King of the Pack and we named Metro, that had the effect that they sent out a message from head office saying stop selling rapid antigen tests at silly prices. So we're hoping that will have the same effect with BP petrol stations and the IGA stores.
So if we look at the reports from consumers to the ACCC in the last couple of weeks about price gouging behaviour, are there any noticeable trends in both where the price gouging is occurring and what's happening to prices?
Yes, what we're finding is that whereas originally we had a lot of complaints about pharmacies, now the complaints are more about smaller stores that you wouldn't really expect to be selling these sort of products, things like petrol stations, tobacconists, small convenience stores. In terms of pricing, the complaints have been pretty stable. Basically, prices, the bulk of the complaints have been about prices between $15 and $30. Of course, we've got some ridiculous outliers beyond $30. And of course, keep in mind that these are the prices for the people who are complaining to us. Obviously, and I'm hoping, the people who aren't complaining to us are buying rapid antigen tests at prices well below that range. But that's the range of prices that are being reported to us.
So what is a reasonable price as far as you can determine for these tests at a wholesale and retail level?
The wholesale prices we're seeing are somewhere between $4 and $8, and sometimes they go up to $11.50. So you've got that $4 to $11.50 range, but really mainly $4 to $8. So certainly if people are selling it for $20, their markup is way too high, and if they're selling it for $30, that really is just outrageous.
There's a whole range of laws now governing these rats tests in the market. You just look after some of them. What about these claims, though, that the federal government has been commandeering supplies? Have you investigated those, and are there any breaches of the laws in the claims about those?
There very likely are breaches in the law there. We are definitely investigating the claims that some people have said where people, paid for stock and they go to pick it up and they're told, no, it's been commandeered by the government. We've certainly had one player that's publicly walked away from those statements. Now that we're still going to investigate them, but that obviously helps. So I'd urge any other supplier in the system that's been making misleading statements to publicly walk away if indeed they're not true. But we will investigate them and find out to what extent they are true or not. But certainly the essence of consumer law is don't mislead consumers. And if you're telling people something that's not true, then you are very liable to find yourself up in court.
So have you been able to get any clearer picture amidst all this confusion about the structure of supply chains for rats tests? And have you been able to form any view about whether it would have been possible for the federal government to have done more to sort of put some controls or structures in place to make the supply easier for people to get, given the global demand?
The structure of the market is that basically you've got obviously the supermarkets buying them, you've got the main pharmacy wholesalers buying them, and there's three main ones there. You've got state governments buying them because they need to provide them to schools and hospitals, and you've had the Commonwealth buying them as well. Obviously lots of people buying them is helpful because they can tap into a whole range of sources and do different deals. Look, beyond that, the complexity of the supply chain overseas is not something we've had a deep look at, but you've had this sudden worldwide explosion of demand for rapid antigen tests, and we're certainly aware that there's problems overseas as well as there are here. Certainly it's a supply problem, and the supply problem is causing the price problem. Hopefully when the supply problem, well, I'm expecting whenever the supply problem is fixed, that will sort out the price problem.
Rod Sims, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Laura.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.